Today I have another update video for you, but not the usual one about Litecoin and Ethereum with a chart analysis like I normally do. No, today I'm sharing the trades that I analyzed today. So today I went through the charts of several coins and set new limit orders. But one has already been filled, that's the first one. I also have Link, I have Litecoin, and I have a new Ethereum trade. Litecoin is still open as before. From the last videos that I shared, then HBAR and ADIA, those are also still open and all still in profit. And with Solana, I'm waiting for now, I'm keeping my hands off for the moment. If it works out, I'll show you that in the video as well. And all of this with the trading strategy that I already shared in one of my videos. For those who don't know it yet, check it out. Currently, it's the 4th best video on my channel, even though it's only been online for a month. And you can also find it in the category that is in the playlist. Learn trading step by step to becoming a pro trader. It's the very first video in there. And at the same time, I also want to thank you all because in the last video, I mentioned that I was still missing a few subscribers. So I'd be happy if you don't know my channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. I regularly share passive income strategies. Also, check out the very first video here. I can only recommend it. Join the Telegram group as well. The link is in the video description. We share everything together here. We go through it all together. We show which bots we set up, but it's all just with trading bots. You can easily copy them for free, just for yourself on the exchange without having to pay anyone anything. And you'll also see in this tutorial how wonderfully this works. But now let's continue with the trades I've prepared. First of all, this is not investment advice. These are the trades as I do them. There will also be regular losses. That's why anyone who might trade this should of course be aware of their own risk. For every trade they make, as a small example, I even only risked half of my trade. I'll show you in a moment why. Based on the liquidation heat map, which I included here and where my stop loss is set. The first working trade, which I didn't take part in, this one here, actually had a wonderful trade setup. It hit the 0.618, reached the take profit here, and so this trade is done. That means I can check this one off. And from my last low that I had before, we had the new breakout. So we then surpassed this high with another new high. And that means I take the last low and pull the Fibonacci back up here. Unfortunately, I have to say I didn't trade the 0.5 and 0.618 Fibonacci levels, which in this case was a big advantage because during my Sunday analysis, I saw that I have the opportunity to enter at this 0.786. That one has already been hit as well. I just received the notification on my smartphone earlier. But I have a problem here with the stop loss, where it's placed, and that's based on the liquidation heat map. But why do I still see it as valid, as possibly valid? We have, and that's this here, this order block, which is right here. There's a lot of volume here. We've dipped into it several times already and are currently still within it. That's still okay, but I have a second small confirmation for myself. Here we now have the 0.786 level with 299.36 as the entry. And if I compare that to the recent lows here, we can see that the 0.681 is almost at the same level as my 0.786 in this price range. That's why I saw a small double confirmation for myself here. Now I say, okay, I'm entering here with a risk or with half of my usual risk, and I've set my stop loss just as I always do. In this case, my stop loss is calculated from the usual 0.5 as the entry. In this case, my stop loss is just before the 0.618. And that's exactly how I apply it here. Now I have another problem with my stop loss here, and I'll show you that now using the liquidation heat map. On a monthly basis, I have a very large cluster here at $288.33 US. My stop loss is at 287.89. Maybe I'll set it a bit lower. If the trade really goes into the red, I'll take another look at the liquidation heat map. And then I'll see how to proceed. If I look at this with Awerber and for example on the weekly chart, as I saw earlier, at this point in time we still have some liquidations just below us. So that means we've now had a lot of new long orders come in this area. Even if these still get liquidated, that's up to about $291 US. And that's all still fine for me. And these new long orders could maybe be a confirmation so that now the market makers say, hey, we've got so much liquidity above us, maybe we can push the price up there. So here for me, it's really only half risk. And that's the first trade. The second trade, we'll continue with Ethereum. I'm a bit more prepared with Ethereum. You know this, I shared it on Telegram. We have a massive consolidation here. And in my hourly chart, you can see it even more clearly. And I said, I'm not going to do any more Fibonacci trades here, no more, because this consolidating zone just causes various up and down movements without any really nice price action. And that's exactly what happened. I shared that. We went up, hit the target, and then went down. And now I've entered a long position here. Luckily, I set the stop loss below this wick. That's my current position. Let's see if it works out with the take profit up here. What would support this? In this case, we have here a very long candle with another fair value gap. You can also see that nicely on the 4-hour chart if you zoom in. Although that was partially closed, I still see the possibility that we could close something up there. That's just the first trade, but that's not really the one I'm focused on right now. I want to share a completely different trade with you. Namely, this is one that starts much further down, specifically at 4,055.68. And that's exactly this low down here. If I pull this up here after this massive pump, we still have the possibility here because of this high that we might find support here again. 4,155. Where is that? Let's take a look at the liquidation heat map here. We have liquidity lying between 4,116 and 4,112 US dollars. And that would fit perfectly here so that I would get in around my entry. Maybe the price will drop even further. In that case, I might even scale in again here with this wick downwards. You can see that on the 4-hour chart. I can show you something else in a moment as well. If we go in here now, you'll see why we have support here again. I'll show you that in the smaller time frame in just a second. Now let's look at the hourly chart. And right here, before we had this small breakout, there was a brief retest, and we dipped back in there again. That means there's a possibility that the 0.5 entry might not actually hold. In that case, I would scale in again in this price area and set the stop loss. Possibly take a loss if it actually goes further down. But here too, the liquidation heat map, and this on a 1-month basis, would have liquidation up to 4,120 US dollars approximately at the current time. That's why this is my new trade. With here you can see again, 434 risk-reward ratio. Then I have the link trade. I've shared this again and again in recent videos. I'm waiting for him to come down. I placed 2 entries there. In this case, the first entry here is at the 0.5 level. Where does that come from? That's this rejection, because here too, if I go down here and draw it in, I switch to the 4-hour chart, you can see it a bit better. Down here we had this breakout. We actually triggered the 0.5 Fibonacci perfectly and reached take profit. That means for me, even though I didn't trade it, I didn't see it at the time during the analysis or didn't analyze this trade back then. So that's checked off. And that's why I take this low to the current high we had and now wait for new entries. Accordingly, I'm prepared for us to go a bit further down here. And here as well, if I now look in via link, where are the next possible liquidation clusters on a monthly basis? That's roughly at 20.6 US dollars. If we go in, it's here at 21.6 or at 20.17 US dollars. So does that mean if we go down here now and don't immediately see it as support, but actually go a bit further down and maybe still get something out of this price range here, I'm in the position and would then hope for the reversal. If that doesn't work out, then for me personally, I hope that we'll get another stop somewhere and then get the reversal afterwards. That's the second trade, or rather 2 more trades that I've now prepared. I've really set all of these as limit orders here. You can see that. Link is now in there twice. Litecoin, we'll get to that next. HBUY is also prepared once more. But now we'll move on to Litecoin because that's the next one. I've also prepared that one several times. Now we have 2 options. If this long doesn't work out because of a pump, we'll get to that in a moment, then I also have a Litecoin buy set at around $105.10. Let me quickly turn off my alert since I've already set it. I have my long position here with a stop loss at 98 to zeros. 63 US dollars, and that's how my entry will look. We'll go into Litecoin again as well. Liquidation, where is it? At 106 and maybe a bit below that, around 105.50, and it's exactly this liquidation that's sitting here, which people are currently trying to pump, meaning they're going long. We'll see tomorrow when the markets open what happens, how things kick off. We actually have it 1-to-1. Here's the possible 0.5 entry, meaning this could be a clean entry if we actually get rejected here, dip in a little bit, maybe pick up a bit more here, and then have the opportunity to rise afterwards. If that doesn't work out now, well, I still see another possibility. We leave the liquidation sitting at the bottom. And I see here in this area, I can see that we have massive resistance. What previously acted as support. So if I drag this over a bit, this was support here. I'll zoom in a bit here as well. After that, it became resistance, rejection, rejection. And now we're pumping right over it. And if we now start making higher highs here, because we're slowly but surely moving in, we haven't broken the high yet. But what would I want to see? So that we might get a new high here somewhere into this price peak. We could also look at where there's still an order block. And after that, I would wait for a small reversal. I'll show you in a moment where that could possibly be. And then enter a new long position right after. But I would update that again in another video. What would that look like? For example, I could choose where is there an order block exactly in this area here where this liquidation candle is. So this was a liquidity hunt that happened here. And now let's assume we don't fall down. Then I would take this low here and simply see, okay, how far do we rise? Maybe we just take out this liquidation candle, and after this pump, I get a brief correction. That would fit perfectly here with this breakout, either at the 0.5 or 0.618. I would enter both of those positions, and then in my view, with the probability that we use this as support after the breakout so that we can move higher afterwards. However, my take profit would always be immediately at the 0 level. But you have to see whether I only take partial take profit here and then include the next high in case we really get a new bullish price action here. That's how I would proceed here. Next up is H-bar. Guys, you know this from the previous videos. I entered at the 0.5 level this time. This is also a very long-term correction that we have. We're now consolidating nicely at the 0.5 level. It's currently in profit. Then I also have Cardano or ADIA, exactly the same situation. There was also a smaller entry, which I shared with you. That was this one here. It was triggered, take profit was reached, and that's basically it. But for me, I use both of these now because I entered a bit lower here. Because of the 0.5 level, and I'm taking advantage of the lower entry, which I have for the possible price target of around $1, where I have my take profit set. That's a wonderful risk-reward ratio of 1 to 5.11, and that's also a trade that is still open at the moment. And that's the next trade. The last trade, one of the last trades I want to share with you, will also be in the last video or in one of the last videos, or maybe it was even a live video. I don't remember anymore. We had the first trade here. I have to go into the smaller time frame. The first trade was triggered perfectly, so a stop loss happened into the 0.618, and here it was then closed profitably. Unfortunately, the second trade didn't work out here. Both 0.68 and 0.5 were used up. 0.786 was not triggered. That happens. It really can occur. But that's part of it. There would have been a second possibility as a final trick. Just as I showed earlier with Aave, you could maybe really pull it down to the very lowest point here. Again, if the stop loss is hit twice, you can look and see, okay, where would the last lowest point have been? There, the 0.618 as it looks also wasn't quite triggered, but the 0.5 was. That means the possibility would have still existed, but of course I stick to my strategy. So in this case, it didn't quite work out. I also have to say about Solana, at the moment I'm not taking any further trades on Solana. That means one trade was profitable, 2 stop losses were hit, that's just part of it. And at the moment, it's simply the case that we're making neither higher highs nor higher lows. That means at the current time, if we take a closer look at this now, you'll see why I'm really holding back here. Here we have a low, then a higher low, here another low, again higher, and here another low, also higher. And here a high which is lower, and here another high which is lower, and here yet another high which is also lower. Hopefully you can see what I'm getting at. I just need to step out for a moment here and delete all these things here again because we're forming a kind of triangle here. And that's why at this point I'm still holding back a bit. So I'm keeping my feet still, so to speak. That's about how it goes. And also in this area here, we have this downtrend. And as long as we don't have a breakout below or above here, I wouldn't enter any new Fibonacci trades on Solana right now. Accordingly, that means keeping still for now. Those are currently all the new trades I have open right now. And for those of you who might want to test this strategy risk-free, you can sign up with Bitcoin. You'll find the link in the video description. Just for signing up, you'll already receive the $10 credit. The 300 user spots are far from being filled. And everything is without KYC. That means you just need to provide your email address, deposit something from a crypto wallet up front, and that's it. And then you also have the chance to receive up to $400 in trading bonuses if you deposit at least $2,000, depending on the amount you want. The good thing about it is exactly this bonus will then be deducted from your stop loss. That means a stop loss like the one I set here, it wouldn't be deducted from my own balance. No, it would be deducted from the bonus. And you can see that down here. Since I'm VIP2 in this case, I receive a new bonus credited to my account every week. Sometimes $100, sometimes $200, sometimes $5. And in this case, I still have $370 left in bonus. Every position I open or close or any stop loss I incur is deducted from the bonus in advance. Otherwise, please leave a like under this video if you enjoyed it and definitely subscribe. That would really make me happy. I would really appreciate it if we keep going like this and grow the channel a bit. Let's push it. I'm really trying my best to deliver good content for you. Until next time, ciao.